Lil Brunson back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Oh, what a time. What a time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. This video was about the top 5 Philadelphia Eagles with the most to prove. Now, this list is going to start from that guy at the bottom. He's going to have the least to prove. In regards to the guy that I'm going to name last, who's going to have the absolute most to prove, I feel, going into the season, whether we keep him on the roster or not. I had to come out here with this beautiful sun, let the wind hit me, bring me the ambiance. So, number 5, I'm going to say Josh Adams. Josh Adams is number 5. Number 5 guy on the roster with the most to prove. Why? Josh Adams has not converted a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 the entire season last year. And he's our big body guy. Let me let you know how critical that is. Our biggest running back has not completed a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. I think that's why a lot of his playing time dwindled. I think that's why we didn't see him when it came closer to the end of the season, when every game mattered, because he started to not be reliable when he should have been reliable. Yeah, he showed that spark. He showed what it takes to make the roster and this, that, and the third. But if you can't complete the short yardage downs, any running back should be able to do that. I don't care if you're a scat back. You should be able to pick up 1 yard. You should be able to pick a hole and get 1 yard. You know what I'm saying? We was better QB sneaking at some points in the season than going with Josh Adams. But yeah, Josh Adams is right there. Now, next up on the list, Jalen Mills. Gotta go with Jalen Mills. Now, we know Jalen Mills left the season early due to injury, but before he got injured, Jalen Mills was getting beat like a Cherokee drum. A Cherokee drum at a wedding. It was getting embarrassing. I mean, I was feeling bad for Jalen Mills. We all gathered the pitchforks and said Jalen Mills gotta go, this, that, and the third. But was it really Jalen Mills? Was it really Jalen Mills? Yeah, it was Jalen Mills. It was the technique. Some of it was poor defensive coaching, but Jalen Mills got an off. Listen, he's going to have this offseason, this training camp to reflect on everybody talking bad about him. He's going to be able to prove some people wrong, and I think Jalen Mills is going to bounce back as one of the leaders on the defense moving forward next year. Number 3, Jim Schwartz, man. Jim Schwartz. Now, I know I said top 5 players, but come on, Jim Schwartz too, man. Jim Schwartz got a lot to prove because I think the ownership knows it. I think the coaching staff knows it, which is why they brought in this advisor about a month ago or whatever. I did a video on that as well. Jim Schwartz got a lot to prove because Jim Schwartz called some very questionable play calling. But Jim Schwartz did get his act together towards the end of the season. But we need that towards the end of the season, Jim Schwartz, all season. You see what I'm saying? Because the Panthers shouldn't have beat us. A loss like that falls on Jim Schwartz. So I'm going to say Jim Schwartz got a lot to prove as well. So that was my 3rd guy. My 4th guy would be Carson Wentz. My 4th guy would be Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, we know how Carson Wentz can be when he's 100%. But Carson Wentz is showing a pattern of not being able to stay healthy. Carson Wentz is showing a trend of not being able to finish a season like the last 2 seasons. Injuries are popping up out of nowhere, nagging injuries. He's yet showed the ability to tweak his game and to keep himself out of harm's way. He needs to get the ball out faster. Carson Wentz needs to improve all around the board. He needs to look for Alshon Jeffrey more. He needs to look for Jeffrey Moore, but you know what helps Carson Wentz? What helps Carson Wentz is a running game. Let him lean on a running game, then let him catch the defense by surprise when throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I could say Carson Wentz there at that spot. My last guy gotta be Sidney Jones. It gotta be Sidney Jones. Sidney Jones is the number 1 talent, a 1st-round talent. Coming out of college, everybody thought Sidney Jones was going to be a 1st-round talent. Everybody thought Sidney Jones was going to be that guy. I think he tore his Achilles on his pro day or at the combine, something like that, and then he slipped down to us in the 2nd round or wherever we got him. We had high hopes on Sidney Jones. He didn't play the whole 1st season, his rookie year. He played 1 game, came back in a meaningless Dallas Cowboys game. And Sidney Jones has yet to be able to stay healthy. Sidney Jones has yet to be able to stay healthy. I think, listen, I got to be real. I think we put Sidney Jones in some bad situations by knowing he's not healthy and then putting him on the islands with Amari Cooper and stuff like that. We did him wrong. But I think Sidney Jones got the most to prove, because if Sidney Jones doesn't prove that he can stay healthy, he's going to find himself getting less time than Cre'Von LeBlanc. He's going to find himself getting less time than Avonte Maddox. These guys showed up, and these guys proved that they belong on the roster. We don't have room for 10 cornerbacks. We ain't got room for 10 cornerbacks, so Sidney Jones got to step up, because Jalen coming back. McLeod coming back. You know what I'm saying? So Avonte Maddox ain't going to be able to play safety and play corner. McLeod coming back to get his spot back. Let's be clear about that. McLeod is that guy. He's coming back to get his spot back. We ain't got no room to be bouncing people around no more. So if you're a corner, you're gonna be a corner. You ain't touching Malcolm Jenkins' spot. Malcolm Jenkins don't miss snaps. You know what I'm saying? Sidney Jones is the #1 guy that got something to prove, man. And we're gonna leave it at that with this video about that on that subject. Now, if you disagree with my top 5 guys with something to prove, then you put your list in the comments, and we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about it as always in Lord Brunson fashion. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the subscribers, man. I'm intrigued to see what you guys' top 5 is, because I don't think nobody got nothing more to prove than those 5 guys I named. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Lord Brunson back at you with the back at you. I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Man, I miss football, man. Am I the only one? Am I the only one, man?